Hi, BC family. Welcome to your midweek devotion. This week, I want to talk about protecting our peace. And I want to start by reading a few verses. So, John 16:33 says, and it's one of my favorite verses, I have told you these things so that in me you have perfect peace and confidence. In the world, you will have tribulations, trials, distresses, and frustrations, but be of good cheer. Take courage, be confident, because I have overcome this world. I have deprived it of its power to harm you and have conquered it for you. Peace. It's a running theme throughout the Bible, right? And nearly every single time you see it, it's not a suggestion, it's a command. You see time and time again, have peace, take peace, pursue peace, crave peace. Psalms 34:13-14 says it really clear. It says, keep your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking deceit. Depart from evil and do good. Seek, inquire for, crave peace and pursue it. Go after it, right? Philippians 4:6-9 says, do not fear or have anxiety about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, continue to make your wants known to God. And God's peace, which transcends all understanding, will mount guard and garrison over your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. And think on whatever is true, whatever is worthy of reverence, honorable, seemly, just, pure, lovely, lovable, kind, winsome, gracious, excellent, virtuous. If there's anything worthy of praise, think on, weigh, and take account of these things. Fixate your mind on them. And then verse 9 really drives this point home. It says, practice what you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, and model your way of living it. And the God of peace, of untroubled, undisturbed well-being, will be with you. But notice it said, practice it, live it, right? So I want to talk today on the importance of protecting our peace. As you can see through these verses, you will have trials and storms and seasons, right? But despite all of that, you will have peace. Stephen Covey said, and I love the saying, the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. In other words, the main thing for us to do, the most important thing for us to do, is keep our peace. Keep that as your main thing through life's roller coasters and seasons and storms, because that is how we survive our storms, by keeping our peace. Now, this is easier said than done, and I have a great example. I love this example of it. It's from Holly Wagner's husband. He had a meeting one time, and he asked for some volunteers, and then he gave each one of them a role. He said, okay, you are all firefighters, and your job is to put out fires. He then went on to explain that today there are no fires, so I'm going to give each of you some responsibilities. He said, volunteer number 1, you're going to wash the fire truck. Volunteer number 2, you're going to mop the floors. And volunteer number 3, you're going to wrap up the fire hose neatly. And he said, okay, act it out. And after they got done acting out, he said, do it again, but more convincingly. I mean, really wash that fire truck and, mop the floor. And he had him do it over and over, and he poked fun at him, and it was entertaining for the meeting, and it was really funny. And then afterwards, he said, okay, now what was your job again? And each one responded in turn. Wash the truck, mop the floor, wrap the fire hose. And then he said, he really drove his point home, and he said, nope, you're all wrong. Your job is to put out fires. He had deliberately put so much focus on all the other tasks and responsibilities that they had forgotten or lost track of their real job and priority, which was to put out fires. They lost track of the main thing. And that example is so powerful to me because that's how life is, isn't it? We're seeking God, we're maintaining our peace, and then the phone rings, and then the family issues, and then the children issues, and then the diagnosis, and then the financial hardships, and then the busyness or the busy week or the busy season. And suddenly you're getting so fixated on these things, you lose track of the main thing, right? Suddenly anxiety, fear, frustration, life, panic, exhaustion creeps into our hearts, into our lives, and we lose sight of the main thing. The main thing is have peace. Jesus has overcome the world. It's deprived it of his power to harm us. Crave peace, pursue peace. Don't worry about anything. Abide in the peace that transcends all understanding. Think on only excellent and virtuous things. That's the main thing, right? So don't allow a moment to steal that main thing. I love this saying. It's not if and then with God. If I can get this person to do this, then I can have a better week or a better day. If I can just get this job, then everything will be better. If I can just do, then. If I just take the day to do this and this and this and this and this, or if I get all my ducks in a row, then I can have more time to spend with God and more time to do this and to focus on this, right? No, with God, it's not if and then. It's even if. Even if I don't have the money, I know God, right? Even if they're doing me wrong, God. Even if my children did, or my husband did, or the doctor said, or my bank account reads, even if, I will walk it out in peace and joy and love. Even if I have a busy day ahead of me or a busy week, I will have peace that no one else understands. That's that peace that mounts guard and garrison over your heart and minds, right? Transcends all understanding. You will have peace that no one else understands because I put God first. I know God has overcome this world. He's deprived it of its power to harm me. I will watch what I say when I'm in the midst of the storms, because that's what Psalms 34 was saying. Psalms 34:13 said, keep your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking deceit. What is that? Anything opposite of what God says and what God has already told you. So don't go around talking doubt, fear, frustration. That is the evil and the deceit, because it isn't God's truth. And that's why the very next verse says, seek peace, crave it, pursue it. Why? Because it's the main thing. That's the main thing. Luke 10 is an amazing story of two women, Mary and Martha. So it's Luke 10:38 through 42, and I want to read that really quickly. So now while they were on their way, Jesus entered a village, and a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. And she had a sister named Mary, who seated herself at the Lord's feet and was continually listening to his teachings. But Martha was very busy and distracted with all of her serving responsibilities, and she approached him and said, Lord, is it of no concern to you that my sister has left me to do the serving alone? Tell her to help me and do her part. But the Lord replied to her, Martha, Martha, you are worried and bothered and anxious about so many things, but only one thing is necessary. For Mary has chosen the good part, that which is to her advantage, which shall not be taken away from her, right? Mary kept the main thing, the main thing. Martha got distracted by all this stuff. She lost focus on what the main thing was, his presence, peace, because you need to be in his presence in order to have peace, right? It's vital to sit at his feet. It's life-giving to sit at his feet. In order to move forward with your day and function right, we have to sit still in his presence. When we are in his presence, it becomes real to us. And when it's real to us, then it becomes real to everyone else around us. This is the peace that transcends all understanding. That's the peace that people marvel at. When we are keeping the main thing, and protecting our peace and cultivating our peace, ensuring we are surrounded by an atmosphere of peace, then others see it, right? Because it's genuine and authentic. It's not us trying to choose peace by attempting to control the situation, right? No, it's being Mary, ensuring we are in his presence and in peace before we enter into our storms, our busy, or our everyday, right? Because there's a difference between real peace, God's peace, being in his presence peace, and choosing peace by choosing to control. That's the if and then. If I do this, then everything will be great. That's you choosing peace, but by trying to control this. That's not the same thing as the peace that Mary entered into, right? So as your week goes on and you face your trials and your tribulations and your distresses and your frustrations and your busyness, remember the main thing this week. Take peace, keep peace, cultivate peace. And just like that fireman example, you may have to do other things, take on other responsibilities, but don't forget your job is to keep your peace. Don't get distracted like Martha, but be like Mary. Pursue it, crave it, seek it, speak it. Philippians 4:9 says, practice what you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, and model your way of living it. And then the God of peace, of untroubled, undisturbed well-being will be with you. That's that practice part, and that's what Mary did. And it wasn't that all the cooking and the cleaning and all the chaos of the day wasn't going to happen. That was going to happen, but she knew what to put first, what to protect before the distractions. Jesus said she had chosen the good portion, that which is to her advantage. It is to our advantage to maintain peace, to keep in his presence. So this week, yes, all the stuff is happening. Reality is there. But be like Mary and remember what the main thing is, because that is going to be to your advantage this week. Have a great week.